This is a Plague Tale. We're on Xbox Series X. The game is inheriting its Xbox One X enhancement, which is a temporal solution that takes 1440p up to 2160. So that's kind of interesting to think about. There's also HDR support built into this. And yeah, it runs at 30 FPS. So this is actually a wonderful narrative-driven adventure that follows this young woman as she takes care of her brother against some really insane odds. It's not a traditional sort of experience in the sense that you are battling against people directly. You do have moments of conflict and combat, but for the most part, you are playing more of a defensive character, using the environment and other tactics to your advantage. So with this being a narrative-driven game, it really is about the story. It's got a decent length to it, a good selection of chapters, and some really, really well-developed characters. I actually thought Misia here was just absolutely fantastic as a lead, and I really do want to see more of this experience. So they really did an amazing job here in terms of the visual fidelity, the look of the characters, the design of the world, the gloominess, the atmosphere, and hopefully this part isn't too spoilers. So it's a game grounded within the realms of this great plague. Things are not great. People are having a really bad time. They're getting eaten by rats, and they were able to fit, technology-wise, like 5,000 rats, like up to 5,000 rats on the screen at any given time, which is just so unnerving and so unsettling, and yet so beautifully well done. But you've just been seeing a cutscene thus far. Now we go on to actual gameplay, which again looks absolutely stunning. It really is quite visually impressive, and I think we've got a great lead character here. So there's things to collect, things to find, and a sense of wonder and enjoyment within this really twisted, messed up world, or a few chapters. And I think this is actually even the E3 presentation from back in the day, what they showed off here, because this is a really cool area where, you know, they've got the kickoff for the story, but yet things aren't fully developed yet, and at the same time you get a really good idea of the scope of the world. But yeah, it's a beautiful game. It really is quite lovely, and as a story, I think it's very well done. I really did enjoy the paths of the characters, the sense of mystery. So it's very much a grounded game, but at the same time, there is an element of the supernatural to it, which I think is quite fascinating. It really does center around this character, though. Her struggles and the relationship with her brother as she kind of explores this really messed up world while trying to, you know, kind of deal with the problems and stuff that are around her, even though, you know, she's very stressed out and there's a lot of things she has to deal with. So there's an element of stealth and also being able to attack and making the right moves along the way. And while this seems like a very subtle, easygoing opening, things are about to get really, really intense and visceral and insane. So this game really is very interesting. It's totally unique as a story game. I think it really hits the mark in terms of being something that you will find memorable, that you will have enjoyed, that you will find grim and dark, while also having a little bit of hope to it as well. It's definitely surprising in terms of, you know, what the characters do and the places you go throughout the game. It definitely gets a little bit more intense than I would have anticipated. While at the same time, I think it was a wonderful sort of bump up. There's also chapter replay if you want to jump back into any part of the story, like we're doing right here. And yeah, it's about to get like really intense here. And it's just like a really grim, murky sort of thing, but yet they give you like such beautiful architecture and design. It's kind of crazy. It really is just beautifully well done. And I'm trying not to talk about the actual story because I don't really want to ruin it. It really is something that you can, you know, enjoy, hopefully spoiler-free to a degree, as you jump into it and see where these characters have to go, the heartbreak they have to deal with, the issues along the way, and really just one young woman trying to, you know, keep her brother going and having to deal with all of these problems that she's really not prepared for, coming from, you know, a fairly easygoing life, and then having to deal with this kind of darkness and messed up atmosphere. So there is an element of puzzle solving to the game too. It's not just about going around and like attacking things or surviving or being stealthy. You actually have to be somewhat creative because there's going to be a lot of rats. There's going to be a lot of problems. It's something that is really, really kind of dark and grim, as you're seeing here. Like, this is, the density is kind of crazy, and you get this sense of scale and scope of, wow, there is some intense combat that's been going on here. It's kind of crazy. But I really do think that this is one of the kind of distinct experiences that came in later in the generation that are certainly something to talk about and think about in many different ways as you go about sort of seeing what this world has to offer. I don't think that's quite it. What am I doing? Rock, fire, embers. But yeah, you gotta be tactical, you gotta be smart, you gotta use your tools, and you gotta really try to survive. That's a lot of this. It's not even directly attacking people, it's not directly like being combative, it's moving around the environment, using it to your advantage and trying to make it a little bit further. But yeah, the rats are just like the most unsettling thing I think I've seen in gaming. It's so distinctly creepy. Oh jeez. And they are just kind of waiting for the light to vanish before they creep up on you and cause some mayhem. Oh no. Oh no, oh no indeed. Oh no. But that really is kind of the darkness, though, is the fact that you have to deal with these situations, these problems, these elements where you have to be creative and try to survive. I think it's just very, very well done. It's really exciting. It's something that, like, from a narrative standpoint, I think delivers a lot of excitement, a lot of surprise, and, of course, just something that you don't see coming, which I think is exciting. Like, really, as you get to those later points in the narrative, I think you're genuinely going to be shocked by the sort of scenes, the things that you have to deal with along the way, and that's kind of really exciting. And then I love the element of fire and light. So I've actually seen this game at E3 many, many times, like a few times actually. To see the progression it made over the years, it was kind of exciting for me. But yeah, just that element of, you're not only dealing with these rats, this terrifying world, but you're also having to deal with other people, because other people are terrible too. And those other people, they might have like torches on them, and you can swing and you can break that torch and you can cause, problems for them. And I think that's kind of exciting too, just to see the different things that can happen along the way. It's just kind of really interesting, and it's like fascinating, the experiences you have along the way as you try to survive in this really messed up, kind of destroyed landscape, which I think is fun. Maybe we should kind of let go of the fire thing for him so the kid doesn't die there. That'd be kind of fun too, right? But anyways, that's Plague Tale: Innocence. I think this is about as much as I really want to showcase, so that you can just get an idea of what it's like gameplay-wise, how it's looking, which is gorgeous. It really is magnificent. And also a sense of what you do gameplay mechanics and how it looks. But this is something you need to experience for yourself and jump into and not be spoiled in any way, because the architecture, the design of the setting and everything really does paint one grim and exciting sort of world that you get to explore, and I think it's definitely worth diving into if you haven't already.